You can order the rear axle shaft used in the video on the CarParts.com website via the link in the description. Turn your engine off and set the parking brake. Pull on the hood release handle and open the hood. Open the brake fluid reservoir. Loosen the wheel lug nuts on the rear wheels. Lift the rear of your vehicle. We strongly suggest watching our video on how to jack your Ram 1500 safely before carrying out this step. Place the vehicle on the jack stands. In order to change the rear axle shafts on your vehicle, you will need to take off the wheels to have full access. Don't forget to put the wheels under the vehicle. Now you need to remove the brake system. To do so, we recommend watching our video, How to Replace the Rear Brakes Dodge Ram 1500. We show you how to remove the brake caliper, pads, and discs if you decide to replace them. You now have access to part of your rear axle shaft. Hey, it's Alex from CarParts.com. If you enjoyed this video and want to support us, like, comment, and subscribe. Okay, back to work. In order to remove the rear axle shaft, you need to disengage it from the differential. To do this, the differential must be drained. To do so, we recommend watching our video, How to Change the Differential Fluid Dodge Ram 1500. You must now remove the differential cover. Use a ratchet, an extender, and a 13mm socket to unscrew the 12 bolts that hold the differential cover in place. Next, use a crowbar to lever along the edge of the differential in order to remove the differential cover. You now have access to the differential. In order to work with the differential, you must manually put the vehicle in neutral. To do this, use a plastic fork to remove the plastic cover located above the parking brake. Use a flathead screwdriver to push the locking pin and pull on the strap. You can now freely rotate the rear axle in order to access the pinion shaft lock bolt. To block differential rotation when unscrewing the lock bolt, replace the neutral manual lever. Using an 8mm wrench, unscrew the lock bolt from the pinion shaft. Then, remove it. Pull the neutral manual lever again. Rotate the differential in order to access the pinion shaft. You can now extract the pinion shaft by pushing it outward. You must push the rear axle shaft towards the differential so the retaining clip can drop. You can now remove the rear axle shaft. You can order the rear axle shaft used in the video on the CarParts.com website via the link in the description. Take the new rear axle shaft and insert it all the way into its slot. Replace the retaining clip. Then, pull on the axle shaft to block the retaining clip in its housing so that you can insert the pinion shaft. Reinsert the pinion shaft. Rotate the axle shaft so that you can replace the lock bolt. Then, replace the lock bolt, initially by hand. Replace the neutral manual lever. Replace the plastic cover. Then, screw the lock bolt back on using an 8mm wrench. Finish tightening using a torque wrench. Before replacing the differential cover, you need to clean the seal surface to ensure a perfect seal. If you want to know which tools and parts we use in this video, just check the description and you'll find everything you need. Place a paper towel in the differential to prevent seal residue from falling into it. Remove the used seal with a razor blade. Then scrub with fine sandpaper. Finish with brake cleaner and wipe with a paper towel. Repeat the same operations on the differential cover. Since the differential is open, clean the screws too if they are full of sealant. Once perfectly clean, thinly apply silicone gasket maker in order to ensure a perfect seal on the differential. Replace the differential cover. First tightening the bolts by hand until they are finger tight. Finish tightening the bolts in staggered order using a torque wrench. Now you need to add fluid back into the differential. This step must be done with care and precision. To do so, we recommend watching our video, How to Change the Differential Fluid Dodge Ram 1500. Replace the brake system. To do so, we recommend watching our video, How to Replace the Rear Brakes Dodge Ram 1500. Then, you will be able to put the wheels back on your vehicle. Put the car back on the ground and block the wheels properly. Don't forget to screw the brake fluid cap back on before starting the car. Attention! Before using your vehicle again, start your car and pump the brake pedal a few times to push the brake pads together again. Operation complete.